afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now, live at 4 on this Friday.
It's Friday. Okay, delayed reaction. Somebody's on his screen.
Michael Bruno.
Mr. Bruno.
Put down the phone. We're going to talk about that. Charlotte Deleste in for Susan Simon one more time. Thanks for helping out this week.
Absolutely. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. We've had some memorable moments.
Certainly have.
And we may make more today. Here's what's making news on this Friday. There's an arrest warrant out for a member of the Sauk County Board. Jamie Perez reports that he's facing charges of child pornography.
Governor Evers is touring the state today promoting his budget. Rose Schmidt reports on how it would affect funding of your school districts.
And there should be no Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for you this weekend. It's time to unplug Michael Bruno. There he goes. He's turned it off. Let's take a look outside. Great day to get out and enjoy the snow finally. It's warm enough, but winter marches on.
And it will continue to do so.
Yes, indeed. Dave Caulfield is in the backyard weather patio. Got a little cold snap coming.
Yes, temperatures will be well below zero as we head into next week, and then wind chills could be as cold as -20 to -30 in some spots. Happy start of meteorological spring, could you tell? Not really. We're looking at some snow moving in across southwestern Wisconsin. That snow is not hitting the ground just yet. The atmosphere is too dry closer to where we all are for that snow to actually reach the ground at this point. So I expect the evening commute actually should be okay for most of us, and then we'll welcome in some light snow later on this evening. Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam, not seeing any snow just yet, just mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures are right around 30 degrees in Madison, and wind speeds are pretty calm overall, so wind chills are pretty close to that thermometer. So our day planner, as we head into the next few hours, I think that snow starts to arrive closer to about 8 or 9 in Madison, maybe as late as 10 if the atmosphere takes its sweet time getting the dry air out of here, and temperatures will fall through the 20s later on under mostly cloudy skies. So let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County. As we zoom in, we're starting to see some of those normal brake lights, those normal slowdowns Friday afternoon on the Beltline, and starting to see some of those brake lights show up downtown as well. Your drive time's a little bit slow eastbound Verona Road to John Nolan Drive. That's 9 minutes with an average speed right around 30 miles per hour, and some other routes in and around Madison. On 151 northbound downtown to Sun Prairie, still looking good right now at 16 minutes with an average speed of around 35 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update. We'll talk more about what we can typically expect for March and what we can expect as we head into a very cold start to March next week in your first alert forecast.
Nothing typical so far this winter. All right, Dave, we'll check back. Thank you.
First at 4, there's a warrant out for the arrest of longtime Sauk County Board member Bill Wenzel.
This after being, he was tentatively charged, that is, with 5 counts of possessing child porn. Jamie Perez has more, and we want to warn you that some of the details in this report are disturbing and inappropriate for children. Jamie?
Right. Well, details of these charges were not immediately available when we first reported this last night because, according to the Baraboo Republic, prosecutors asked the judge to seal the criminal complaint until Wenzel was taken into custody. Now, Wenzel has not yet been taken into custody last we checked this afternoon, but the criminal complaint was released to us this morning. Again, we do want to warn you that some of the details are shocking and disturbing. Wenzel is facing 5 counts of possessing child pornography. The complaint describes one of those videos of a child performing a sex act on a dog. The complaint also says the girls in the video are anywhere between age 11 and 16 years old. Wenzel has served on the board for nearly 20 years. We spoke with the board chair this afternoon, who says while Wenzel is considering his options, he has the right to serve until he is convicted of a crime.
Until proven guilty, until there is a conviction, Supervisor Wenzel maintains all of his rights and responsibilities as an elected official. That is the legal interpretation.
The complaint also states that when the search warrant was conducted after investigators linked the videos to his computer's IP address, Wenzel was not home when they found those videos. According to the newspaper, Wenzel is on vacation for a couple of weeks in New Orleans. Each of the 5 counts that Wenzel faces includes a fine of no more than $100,000 and or imprisonment of no more than 25 years. Again, there is a warrant out for his arrest.
All right, Jamie Perez, thank you.
Sure. Madison police say they've finished their investigation into an alleged incident at Whitehorse Middle School. The district placed the acting principal at the school on leave last month after a student said he pushed her and tore out 3 of her braids. Police say they've handed their investigation over to the Dane County District Attorney's Office, where it's currently under review. The incident prompted Black community leaders to host a community meeting and the MMSD superintendent to send a letter to parents saying the district planned to launch a new system for staff and students to report incidents of racism or discrimination.
Governor Evers is on a statewide tour today promoting the budget he delivered to the legislature last night. The first stop for Evers and members of his cabinet was at an AFL-CIO trades conference in Madison this morning. He promoted his desire to repeal the state's right-to-work laws. Then it was on to Sturtevant, that's near Racine, to promote his education policies. He stopped by an elementary school to participate in a Read Across America Day event. He later made stops in Appleton and La Crosse. And school districts are encouraged by the funding increases that Governor Evers is proposing in his state budget.
But the proposals will likely face challenges from the Republican-controlled state legislature. Rose Schmidt shares how Evers' plan would affect you and your family. Rose?
Well, Governor Evers is proposing increasing funding for K-12 by $1.4 billion, more than twice as much as former Governor Walker proposed in his last budget. Republican leaders say that they're concerned Evers is spending much more than the state can afford. He would give $600 million more for special education and provide more money for a number of other school programs. Evers' proposal would change the school's funding formula to give more money to high poverty and rural districts and allow districts to raise money locally without going to referendum. Education groups around the state know it will be difficult to get those plans through the legislature, but they're applauding Evers' efforts nonetheless.
The areas of special education, of English language learners, of mental health are areas where I think there's widespread agreement that more resources are needed, and this budget would provide more resources in those areas.
Evers' plans would fund every school district to 2/3 of its total cost, something Speaker Robin Vos says that Republicans would consider. The question, though, is how to pay for it. And I asked a number of school districts in our area how these proposals would affect them. And administrators tell me they're still sifting through that proposal, but they're happy to see investments, particularly in special education and mental health, as those are some of the areas where they're having to tap into regular programs to cover the shortfall. So quite a lot of details in there.
And a lot of work to go.
Definitely.
Rose Schmidt, thank you.
Washington Governor Jay Inslee is the latest Democrat to announce a 2020 presidential bid, putting the number now at 11 candidates. Natalie Brand is at the White House with a look at how voters feel about his core issue, the environment.
I'm a candidate to become the next president of the United States.
With climate change as his one central issue, Washington Governor Jay Inslee launched his presidential bid Friday from a solar installation company in Seattle.
I will make fighting climate change the #1 priority of the United States of America.
Inslee joins a growing Democratic field, and he's not the only one talking about climate.
Climate change is real.
The aggressive Green New Deal proposed by New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has become a 2020 litmus test of sorts for presidential hopefuls, with several Democratic candidates already backing it. President Trump has been critical of Democratic policy proposals on climate change, and a presidential panel is reportedly in the works to question the government's own analysis of impacts of climate change. At a Washington event on Friday, the president's son lashed out at Democrats, saying their climate plans are too expensive.
Every mainstream leading Democratic socialist candidate for the presidency of the United States is buying into this, saying, oh, it's a great investment. It's just insanity.
A recent Pew poll shows most Americans rank climate change low on their list of priorities. Natalie Brand for News 3 Now.
Governor Inslee is also launching a multi-state climate mission tour starting in Iowa next week.
President Trump says he took time during his trip to Vietnam to watch Michael Cohen's testimony on Capitol Hill this week. And now that he's home, he has a lot to say about what he heard. He sent out a flurry of tweets this morning about the testimony of his former lawyer and fixer. The president called Michael Cohen discredited, said he committed perjury. He also called his congressional hearing this week, quote, fake testimony. Michael Cohen gave about 30 hours of testimony on Capitol Hill in all this week, and will be back again next Wednesday. He claims to have more evidence to back up his allegations. Well, would you be able to turn off your phone and all electronic gadgets for a full 24 hours?
It is a challenge many Americans are taking on this 10th annual National Day of Unplugging. Molly Rosenguy says her life exists on her phone, but she is participating in the National Day of Unplugging. Around 100,000 people have officially committed to a digital elimination diet, Friday evening through Saturday. Some for mental well-being, others to create community or to help the environment. Smartphone ownership has skyrocketed in recent years from 35% in 2011 to 77% in 2018. Another study finds Americans check their smartphones about 52 times a day.
We know that technology is interrupting and distracting us from real intention in our lives.
Reboot is the group behind the Unplug effort, and they hope you can turn off email, Instagram, or Facebook for the entire weekend. You can do it, couldn't you? Go ahead. I have no problems with it. You know, I would gladly, I'd be like, here, take this.
I know.
Oh, and here's my computer, here's my iPad.
I believe 52 times a day, looking at your phone.
Yeah. Oh, it's easy to do.
So from tonight until tomorrow, or all weekend?
24 hours, right?
Try.
Why not?
Good luck. Still, keep the TV on, though.
Yeah.
All right? Still to come at 4, Walmart receives a not-so-friendly welcome from its customers.
We'll look at the backlash the retail giant is facing after announcing it's eliminating its famous greeters and calling them hosts instead. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Welcome back. Walmart is doing damage control after being accused of pushing disabled workers out of their jobs.
Facing a fierce backlash, the retail giant now says it will try to find a way to keep those employees on board. Jay Melton is one of many Walmart employees across the country working with a disability. He's living with cerebral palsy and uses a wheelchair. So when Walmart decided to change its greeters to hosts, therefore requiring them to lift 25 pounds, climb ladders, and perform other physical tasks, he feared for his job.
I've been doing it for almost 17 years, and then all of a sudden, they cut it out.
But Walmart is making it clear the company prides itself on employing people of all abilities, and they want to keep doing that. The company's president sent out a memo to all its store managers stating this: "Let me be clear, if any associate in this unique situation wants to continue working at Walmart, we should make every effort to make that happen." And that is what happened to Jay Melton. He and several other former greeters with disabilities are now moving to self-checkout.
Good for them. Stocks rose today on hopes that a trade deal with China is in the works. The Dow Industrials gained 110 points, ending the week at 26,026. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 62. The S&P 500 was up 19, ending a 3-day loss. Well, today we meet a Madison man who wants to see Madison change for the better when it comes to dealing with racism.
He is Dr. Richard Harris, Uncle Rich to some. He's a kind and very smart man, and he's using his words to do something good for all his brothers and sisters in the city he calls home.
Once you learn how to love at home, it spreads outside the house.
On any given Sunday morning, you can find Dr. Richard Harris here at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Madison. He comes here to learn, be educated, and feel the love shared by everyone here. This is like home for him, a special place where he married his wife Maxine back in 1961. And like this choir, he's using his own voice to spread the love, but in his own way.
I went to Central High School.
For the most part, Madison has been a welcoming home to him, but there are things he wants to change for the better.
On one hand, Madison's a beautiful city. 4 lakes, or 3 lakes, whatever it is, and beautiful medical facilities, etc. Has some wonderful people. But what strikes me the most about Madison will be its legacy on racism.
It's been woven into the fabric of Madison since he can recall. In fact, he was about 6 years old when he started to notice the color of his skin.
This was probably about 1943 when it really impacted me. When I noticed when they talked about white and colored, it wasn't black back in those days.
This was the first of many racial awakenings. They're what shaped the man he is today. Growing up in South Madison, he's been in the thick of it, fighting for change in the workforce, in affordable housing, and in schools. This is his legacy.
I'm 81 right now, so I think I'm probably not going to be doing too much fighting because I couldn't find a job in Madison.
But Dr. Harris is doing a lot of talking, and sometimes doing something good means saying something you might not want to hear.
I have a feeling that Madison, Wisconsin is heading for a tremendous racial problem.
So Harris is giving presentations on his book, Growing Up Black in South Madison. It's his way of trying to wake up people to change and the hope a new Madison College campus on the South Side can bring to minorities.
We are using the proceeds from my book, Growing Up Black in South Madison. 50% goes to Madison College in a scholarship that's in my name, the Dr. Richard Harris Scholarship. And I am so proud of it.
Creating a better future for others in South Madison, those he doesn't know, and the brothers and sisters he can't do without.
My friend Malayla Chikasa Anana would say it takes a village. It takes a number of people, both black and white, who are well-meaning, well-intentioned, who want to do something good in the sense of dealing with racism.
Let us all sing together.
Dr. Harris, thank you for your continuous efforts to do something good. Don't forget, half of all proceeds from his book, Growing Up Black in South Madison, goes to the Madison College Scholarship in his name. You can purchase that book at Madison College Bookstore on Anderson Street. Now, if you know of someone, a business or organization doing something good, I would love to hear about it. Fill out a nomination at channel3000.com/do-something-good.
My bet is a lot of people don't know Dr. Harris's story or the story of South Madison and growing up
It is
black.
tremendous.
Yeah, good for him.
You know, if you ever have a chance to sit down and have a cup of coffee with him, I encourage you to do so.
And pick up
He's
the
amazing.
book. Pick up the book. Charlotte, thank you. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
We'll take a look at this. Strong winds, freezing temperatures have encased this upstate New York home in ice. The image is mind-blowing. Maureen Whalen shared pictures of the house along the Lake Ontario waterfront. Heavy winds during a storm blew ice up against the house, swallowing it whole. The house has been in her family for 85 years, and she says it's never seen anything like this. Whalen says the ice outside is 4 feet deep. She was able to get in through a back door and says so far there's no water damage. Hopefully that won't change.
So far.
Wow.
Is that a tree?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. And you think that snow pile in front of your house is bad.
Yeah, I'll take that snow pile compared to this.
All about perspective.
That's how it's supposed to look.
Oh, okay.
And there you go.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Summer versus winter.
And it may take till July for that to thaw out.
Yeah.
Maybe she needs to consider going to Florida, you know,
Just let
being one of
let
those.
it melt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back later.
Maybe.
Wow.
And we're all in the same boat. Not that bad.
Not that bad, but definitely getting colder before it gets warmer, and temperatures could be below 0 in the morning as we head into next week with wind chills of -20 to -30. We'll talk about that in your News 3 Now First Alert forecast right after this. Good afternoon. I hope you had a really nice Friday so far, and happy start of meteorological spring. March 1st is the start of the season meteorologically. Now we still need about 3 weeks to go to start astronomical spring, or spring according to the calendar. So winter is over. Technically, not technically according to the calendar, but in meteorological winter, we had just over 48 inches of snow, and most of that fell in the past 6 weeks, so it really has felt like we've been inundated with this stuff. Normally, we get about 37 inches of snow in meteorological winter, so that makes this round of winter the 13th snowiest on record in Madison. Lucky 13. As far as March goes, typically we get about 7 inches of snow this month, and we could add about an inch of snow to that total to start the month. Later on today, we should actually be in the mid-30s for this time of year. The good news for the folks that don't want to deal with the cold, here, we will eventually get pretty warm by the end of the month. March is the month with the most dramatic temperature increase compared to the beginning of the month to the end of the month. So good news and something to look forward to. We do have our next round of snow moving into Wisconsin at the present time. Now, a lot of this snow across southern Wisconsin not hitting the ground just yet. The atmosphere just too dry, although closer to Viroqua and La Crosse and Camp Douglas, that snow is hitting the ground at the present time. We've gotten some reports, and thank you so much for that. You can see visibility is close to a mile where that snow is falling, but the rest of us still looking at 10-mile visibility. And that includes in Platteville, where the radar is saying snow, but not hitting the ground just yet. on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Mostly cloudy skies, starting to get some more clouds in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam as well. High today of 30, so about 5 degrees below normal for this time of year. And temperatures will stay below normal as we start this first week of March, basically everywhere you look. 30 in Janesville, 29 in Monroe, 28 in Platteville. And look at these dew points, very, very dry air, single-digit dew points in Madison. So it's going to take some time for the atmosphere to saturate a little bit, and that will allow that snow to reach the ground, I think a little bit closer to about 8 or 9, possibly even 10 p.m. So the commute really won't be affected all that much with this light snow, which is good news. Wind chills are pretty close to what the thermometer is suggesting. Pretty calm winds out there right now. We do have alert days in the forecast for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for some unseasonably cold air on the way. Arctic air is coming to Madison by the time we get to next week, so we could challenge actually some daily records and daily record lows. I think the best chance of breaking a daily record will be on Monday morning, when lows could dip close to 10 below in some spots. And at that time, wind chills could be about -20 to -30 across southern Wisconsin. So a very, very cold start to Monday, so to speak. And tonight, evening light snow comes our way, some flurries as well. Generally about an inch of snow for much of us. 1 to 3 is possible well to the north and west. So by the time we get to about 8 or 8:30, that flurry activity, that light snow activity starts to make its way in, but it's gone pretty quickly by the time we get to early tomorrow morning. Then temperatures will be in the mid-20s as we head into tomorrow, and then temperatures really take a nosedive as we get to the start of next week. So generally about an inch of snow, possibly even 2 to 3 well northwest of Madison, but really our attention is concerning that cold outbreak as we head into Monday and Tuesday. We have alert days in the forecast Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and temperatures could dip close to -10 as we head into Monday morning. If that does happen, it will only be the 10th time in history in March that Madison has double-digit temperatures below zero. So that's something to look forward to, right?
Yay.
Temperatures will moderate by the time we get into the middle of next week, which is good news.
And we could have 30-degree below wind chills, which would cancel schools.
Yeah, possibly. Hopefully it doesn't get to that, and hopefully we can kind of get through it. Yeah, exactly. All the parents are crossing their fingers.
All parents.
And my legs.
Yes.
I think they've had enough days off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Keep them in school.
Yes.
But also, yeah, stay inside. It's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, that's going to be cold.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah, tomorrow's not too bad.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Well, we will keep you up to date on the weekend weather on mornings on News 3.
And then stay tuned for CBS News Sunday morning. Earlier, I talked with Lee Cowan. Lee Cowan is here to tell us what we have to look forward to on this Sunday morning. Good afternoon, Lee.
Hey, Mark, how are you? So coming up this Sunday, Jane Pauley will be sitting down with actress Julianne Moore. This is her very latest film. It's called Gloria Bell, and it's not even out yet. But it's already getting pretty rave reviews for her performance. It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes already. But when she sat down with Jane, she told her that despite all these current roles that she has, every time she's in a movie, she feels like it just might be her last.
I feel bad. Am I going to get another job? Do you ever feel that way?
Oh, of course, we all do. All actors do. We are self-employed. You know, if you talk to anybody who's self-employed, the minute that job is over, you have to find another one. So people always say, why do you worry that, you know, it'll go away? And I always say, because it's not unprecedented.
And Mark Moore also explains how she changed her name. She went furniture shopping with Jane, which is a little different for us, but it's interesting. And she's also going to talk about what it's like to actually be nominated for an Oscar and be sitting there at the Oscar ceremony waiting for that envelope to be opened. So she talks a lot. She has a lot to talk about, so worth tuning in.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I also understand that you are working on a different story about another film, and this one's a true story.
It's a true story about an immigration lawyer here in L.A. who essentially has made it her life's mission to make it a little bit easier for women to seek political asylum in this country. The movie's based on a real case that made it all the way up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And Mission Impossible's Michelle Monaghan plays that attorney. Her name is Judy Wood. Now, Mark, the real Judy Wood, she's 72. She still practices law here in Los Angeles, and we catch up with her to talk about what it's like to actually have a movie made of your entire career. And she has a lot of opinions on the current immigration debate going on, as you might imagine, so we talked to her a little bit about that as well.
And finally, I guess Martha Teichner is putting on her cheese head and heading to Wisconsin.
She is. She's putting on her cheese head. We'll introduce you to a family who actually immigrated from Holland to Wisconsin, to Thorpe, as a matter of fact. And after a while, they thought that what they really missed was some cheese from home. So they started making their own cheese, a special brand of Gouda. It turned out that it won the Best Cheese in America award, which is pretty unheard of for someone who just started doing that. And then she took that cheese all the way to the World Cheese Championships. We'll tell you how all that turned out as well. So it's a nice bite of Gouda for what is surely going to be a pretty cold day for you this Sunday, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it all. Jam-packed show. Lee, thanks very much. And you can see Jane Pauley's Sunday morning at 8 o'clock right here. We'll be right back. Oh, I've looked downtown Madison on this Friday afternoon. Kind of gray out there, but dry.
Yeah, we got that going for us.
Well, Tyler Perry's Medea and her dysfunctional family have gathered for one final comic romp.
They all come together in Medea's family funeral, which hits theaters today. Rick DiMagella has a preview.
The Bible say, yea, though she walked in the valley with the shadow of Little Red Riding Hood and the three bears, she feared no evil, because the three little pigs was not around. Amen. Hallelujah.
Tyler Perry lays his characters to rest in a Medea family funeral.
You know, I'll be 50 this year, and I'm just at a place in my life where this next 50, I want to do things differently. This character's been amazing. So many people have loved her. It's been a great franchise. She's also run out of things to say, in my point of view. So if there's something else for her to say, maybe one day she'll return. But right now, no, I think I'm done.
So Medea will live on.
You can't kill her. I mean, you can't. That's like killing Rocky. Don't kill him.
And look at it. We done outlived him, laying there dead, and we still alive, still kicking.
Perry's late mother informed Medea's creation.
Oh my gosh, she loved Medea. She told me, whatever you do, don't stop playing this character. She loved Medea. So yeah, she and my mother, even though we look alike, she was a much more beautiful version than this character, for sure.
What the hell is you doing? I'm pulling over. For what? The police?
I never thought I'd die like this. I thought I'd die at the strip club.
Morning with Medea in Hollywood. I'm Rick Damigella.
It's Medea. I said it wrong.
Medea.
I said it wrong. And Loper will take a look at this film on Monday. All right, a Broadway classic is now playing at the Overture Center.
Our own classic, Michael Bruno goes backstage to check out The King and I when Live at 4 continues.
Turn that microphone on. There we go. Here is your Friday First Alert traffic update. We do have a incident on the Beltline close to US 14 westbound. Let me tell you about it. So on westbound Beltline, the left lane is blocked because of a stalled vehicle at exit 261. That's the exit for US 14. So there are some delays showing up in spots. Average speed right around there is close to about 10 to 20 miles per hour, with that midsection of the Beltline about 25 to 30 miles per hour. So here are your drive times. 12 minutes right now, Verona Road to John Nolan Drive eastbound. Average speed right around 20 miles per hour. And in the other directions, some other routes to look at. University Avenue eastbound on the Beltline to the interstate, running a little bit tardy at the present time, 25 minutes with an average speed of around 35 miles per hour. And that's your First Alert traffic update.
Thank you, Dave. A mysterious massive fish recently washed up in a beach in Southern California. The bizarre creature was identified as a hoodwinker sunfish, and it's never been seen before in North America. The only known sightings in modern history have been in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and Chile. Scientists can't figure out how this traveler ended up so far away from its home.
That is bizarre.
That's huge.
7 feet.
Wow. Done.
I think we're going to need a bigger boat. Yeah. The Tony Award-winning Broadway classic, The King and I, is now playing at the Overture Center.
This crowd favorite is playing through Sunday, and our Michael Bruno went backstage at Overture to check out The King and I.
Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy. When I am with you, getting to know what to say.
There are certain parts in the show, obviously, that are very contemporary to the times now.
Indeed.
And him being the king of Siam and being this dictator and this the audience was reacting to some of the politicalness of the show.
Absolutely, and what a lot of people have come to the stage door to ask over the last months that we've done this is a couple of questions, right? One, was the stage designed to have this wall in the backdrop for the entire play? And the answer was yes, and this was already the case when it was on Broadway in 2015, before any of this government shut down and talk about the border wall. And the other question that they like to ask is, the king has this line where he says, one day I wish to build a fence around Siam, next day maybe I let the rest of the world in. Their favorite question is, did you insert that line? You know, this year, is that specific to 2019? Are you trying to tell us something? And actually, it's from the original manuscript. And a lot of the geopolitics of Siam and Cambodia and the colonial masters were already in the material as written by Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Sometimes I think the people going mad. Sometimes I think the people not so bad.
And so when Bart Shear and his team went and dug through this material, they made sure to insert a lot of the politics back into the show to give the king a little bit more of a gravitas and a lot more reason to be burdened by what is happening around him during the day, and a lot more reason to be at times in conflict between wanting to open his country up and potentially defend his country and prevent foreign influences from coming in. So the whole show really can be boiled down to, this nutshell statement of, it's about a country that is struggling to determine whether or not to let foreign influences in. And that, alone is just so apropos to these times that it often resonates. And some lines will, on some nights, stop the show because the audience will start clapping and cheering. It's great.
Whenever I feel afraid, I hold my head erect and whistle a happy tune so no one will suspect I'm afraid.
And then you set that to that gorgeous music, which is really just astonishing how all those songs are like etched into our
the
fabric of our lives.
They sort of like come back, don't they? It's like, a lot of people will come to the stage door and say, I didn't realize that there were so many songs that I did know from the show because they just heard them growing up and they were all around and covered by all kinds of different people, right?
You're right, all those songs.
All those songs you know and love.
Yeah.
They're all in that musical. It's amazing.
And Byrne used to live in this area.
Byrne actually lived in Madison for a while and worked at Epic for a while, so he has a local connection.
He decided to get into Broadway?
Yes, and actually was going to law school and auditioned for the show and got in the touring company.
Oh, you're kidding.
I know, it's an amazing story. And he understudies also for The King. So there's an outside chance that you may see him understudy and go on for The King in the show. It's wonderful.
Wow, that's
right place, right time.
fantastic.
Right place, right time. And I so wanted to get that dress.
I was going to ask you about the dress.
I know, if Billy Porter could wear that dress, I wanted that hoop dress.
Oh, I think at the Oscars?
Exactly.
To be able to dance in that is just amazing.
It's one of those classic moments in The King and I when she has that dress on and they do that waltz number for Shall We Dance. It's pretty amazing.
Next time.
Yeah, next time.
The King and I at Overture Center through Sunday. Go to overture.org. There are some seats left, not many, but some. So The King and I. Michael, thank you. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. All right, brace yourselves.
Yes, eventually. A little bit of light snow on the way for this evening. Shouldn't be anything that we can't handle. And
that looks worse than it is.
Yes, it really does, because the air close to the ground is so dry that not a lot of that snow is actually reaching the ground just yet. Now that changes a little bit closer to La Crosse and Camp Douglas. We could see kind of in the visibilities where that snow is actually reaching the ground. For the rest of us, it's actually mostly cloudy and cloudy outside right now, but a little bit closer to about 8 or 9 tonight. Some light snow could be falling. Temperatures are in the low 30s, which is pretty much a heat wave considering what we've been through over the past few months. Expected snowfall generally around an inch at best. I think the 2 to 3 inch amounts will be a little bit closer to Camp Douglas, Black River Falls, and La Crosse. I want to give you a sense of the updated 10-day forecast. There are alert days in the forecast Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for some bitterly cold air on the way.
But the snow ending by morning, so tomorrow should be pretty good.
Tomorrow's not too bad. It's Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday we have our eyes on.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Monday on Live at 4, we'll meet our Pet of the Week from Dane County Humane Society.
And film critic Will Loper will tell us what he thinks of the new suspense thriller Greta. That's Monday on Live at 4.
As we wrap up another week here on Live at 4, it is time to find out what Lola and Louie have been up to.
They have the top animal stories of the week in the News Hounds Now update.
It's News Hounds Now update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the News Hounds Now update, we found a trained cat.
A huge herd of horses.
And popcorn-munching gorillas.
But first, it's zoo babies galore, starting with a brand new antelope at the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago. The male calf was born on Valentine's Day, and they named him Valentino, of course. He's a deek antelope, an African species that's one of the smallest in the world. He weighed just 23 ounces at birth and will weigh about 12 pounds full grown.
The Toronto Zoo has a new baby zebra, but they don't have a name yet. The, quote, hungry little man is bonding with mommy zebra and eating up a storm, which is good because he'll weigh 9 times what he does now when he's full grown. And at the Belgian Zoo, Ai Chan Mei, a 23-year-old Asian elephant, gave birth to her first calf this week. The very long gestation period for elephants, from 18 to 24 months, makes it a special event for the zoo's caretakers. They're going to hold a contest to name the little girl.
Unmoved by the hustle and bustle of passengers rushing about a station in central Israel, Mitzi the cat has become famous for relaxing amidst all the commotion in poses of perfect calm. She has become an online star with videos of her calmness racking up the likes. Mitzi is being looked after by staff and passengers. She was born somewhere around the block and has been at the station